Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. This is Chris Williams. I'm in for Steve today, and I have with me Dr. Sheri Keffer.
Hey, good to be here with you.
My longtime buddy.
I know. We were just getting a photo earlier because we have an amazing person here with us today.
And of course, the remarkable Jim Burns.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
Great to be with you all.
Yeah.
Really,
We
sitting in
love
here.
having you on the show.
well,
You're
I
wise and funny.
I take notes from you all, both of you. I just take notes.
We do when you talk too.
Well, it's always fun to do this because, Jim, when you came on, I remember seeing you speak at a youth specialties conference. I mean, that must have been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying is I'm old. Well, I'm the same age as Steve Arterburn, so we were friends in our 20s.
Yes.
So I'm the same age. So he looks a lot younger than me, though. I don't know what happened.
I think you look great.
Yeah,
I really
so.
do. Okay, so here is what I've been looking at in my own life. And that is I have a really hard time relaxing. I have a hard time settling and sitting. And yet I can also be lazy at the same time. And this is true. If one of the 7 deadly sins, I could do all of them fairly well. But I could be a master at slothfulness.
Yeah.
And so come to find out through some work that I've been doing is that I have too much dopamine surges and crashes going on in my brain. And that's a good addict right there. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to de-stimulate my life. And here's the concept. Serenity over intensity.
That's good.
And so I'm asking you, do you guys struggle with this? And what is the difference between serenity and intensity? Because sometimes we mistake those for each other.
When I think of serenity, I think of peace, the word peace.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day when Hebrew was written more like Egyptian hieroglyphics, Chinese, it was word pictures. And the word for peace is to destroy the authority that establishes chaos.
That's good.
Now,
That's
I
good.
know. Isn't that amazing? In word pictures. So when I think of serenity, right, what you're talking about is figuring out, like you're doing, what is that thing in your life or things that are bringing chaos, and then working to destroy the authority that establishes chaos.
Yeah, that's really, really good because I think that when we look at the just volume and intensity of information, just information alone, nonetheless, all of our distractions and what we have going on in the world, it is driven by chaos. Yeah.
Well, sometimes just busyness. When I graduated from grad school, a friend of mine sent me a note and he said, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy.
Oh, that's good.
And you know
that's
what?
Really good.
I'm not the one who's in the arms of another woman. I'm not the one who's embezzling money. I'm the one who gets so busy doing important things. You can see the quotes if you were on YouTube here watching this, that I do important things, but not the most important things. And so sometimes my family gets my emotional scraps.
Yes.
When that happens, it's the busyness. And I think sometimes, somebody said this too, busy people are sometimes broken people. Busy families are oftentimes broken families.
Yeah.
Overly busy couples are sometimes people who have a tough marriage.
Well, and it's, where we get the word pandemonium, chaos, is a pan god.
Yeah.
And the pan god was really, really, really kind of evil god. It's also where we get the word panic from. And so it's really important, I think, that we learn how to be with ourselves. And there's some panic and pandemonium going on inside of us. And our work here at New Life is to bring that hope and healing in life's hardest places, in life's most chaotic, and life's most anxious places. Give us a call today. We would love to talk to you. Love to help you out with whatever is going on in your life.
Help you clean out those chaos closets,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Help you bring some peace, some shalom. So we're going to be here for a couple hours today. So again, call in. We'd love to talk to you, and we will be right back right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 8th to the 10th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, Chris Williams. I got Jim Burns. I have Dr. Sheri Keffer. We have a lot of wisdom here in the room, a lot of help here in the room. So with that, we're going to go straight to the phones. We're going to Gloria in Miami, Florida, listening or watching on NRB. Gloria, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, tell us
Praise the Lord for you.
Yes, well, we're glad that you're with us, but how can we help you today?
Okay, my question is today for you. I've been married for 20 years. My husband suddenly leave my house on my birthday.
Oh, my goodness.
And only 2 months outside, he's already filed for divorce. And I don't believe in divorce. And I got a paper from the court in my hand.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
they say if I don't comply with them, they're going to be, I'm going to lose, they take the case. They're going to come against me. I wonder what to do. I don't believe in divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm in this situation. I don't know what to do.
Do you know anything that's going on with your husband? Were there any signs leading up to this?
What happened is when we get married, God bless me. I have so many things, the property, all different things I have. And he want to take my life, feed me food. I can sleep for 2 days, and I don't even wake up. But until the Holy Ghost remind me, let me know, don't eat, don't drink, and certain thing to do. When I go to a pastor, I said, this is what God tell me. So
Gloria, let me jump in. So because I want to make sure we understand this correctly. So is it your husband that was taking over your life? And that you have some financial resources or resources of some substance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that your husband was trying to take that over?
Yes, I believe it's for that. But with the help of the Lord, because I believe in God so much, and the Holy Ghost keep lead me to all the processing. Tell me what to do, what not to do. But I stay in the marriage with the help of the Lord. He keep me peacefully. And even the threat for taking my life. And he looked at me in my face.
Who was threatening your life?
Him.
Your husband.
My husband.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He come into my face. He tell me, "You too strong. You don't want to die."
Oh wow.
But
okay. So Gloria, what's the question for us? How can we help you today?
The question for me, I would never file for divorce because since the Lord been keeping me. I will continue to stay in my marriage.
But you have divorce papers in hand, correct? You got served?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so again, we know that you won't file for a divorce, but what's the question for us?
I don't file. He filed for divorce.
Yes, I understand. So how can we help you?
Can I take a lawyer and fight the divorce? Don't accept it? Say I don't want a divorce or just divorce? Accept what you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. So what to do about this when you don't believe in divorce? So, Jim, what do you think?
You know what, Gloria? Because of your love for the Lord, I've got a scripture for you that says, "Where there is no counsel, the people fall, In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And what's interesting about that scripture is actually about a battle. And you're going through a battle. And so I want to make sure that you're getting the help you need. And it's great that you called New Life, but I would suggest someplace where you live, Miami, I would suggest that there, like you mentioned, your pastor, but I would suggest a counselor. I would suggest a very good attorney. You know, attorneys are not all bad. Attorneys also can come along and give you some wisdom and insight in the law. And I would sit with those folks and say, look, I don't want to get a divorce, but I have papers served, and here's the situation. And I think sometimes God works through the wisdom of others who have been through it before. So if you talk to a good attorney who's a family law attorney, they do this every day. So it's a pattern. If you talk to a good counselor, they work through some of these issues every day. I do know people like yourself who've said, I don't want to get a divorce. And frankly, there are times when they fight for their marriage in a beautiful way and it works. And there's other times when, you know, it sometimes is too far gone. But I would say you're at that place where you want to make sure that you're reaching out to the wise counsel, godly counsel. And the scripture tells you to do that. So, you know, and again, this might cost you a little bit of money, but I would spend that money because you've invested 20 years of your life with this, with your husband who now apparently wants this divorce.
Gloria, can you answer one question for us? I hear you. I don't want a divorce. Can you tell us where that value comes from? Where are you drawing that from?
Because to the word of God. Because God gives you a certain way to be divorced. Adultery, I don't catch him. I don't know, it's between the Lord. But for me, he entered my life as a Christian man, telling me God sent him to me. And now leave me without consulting the Lord.
Totally hear that.
Because
totally hear that. And so thank you. I wasn't asking because I don't value the word like you do. I do. I think sometimes what happens is we tolerate abuse and we allow people to harm us. And because we say, well, God hates divorce, and I get it. He's clear on that, and there are reasons that he allows for it. But one of the verses that I think a lot of us miss in Scripture is the verse in Proverbs that talks about, it's Proverbs 16, and Proverbs 6. It starts with verse 16. I want to read it to you. And it says this, because God hates a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. But he's pretty clear on the things that he hates. And it says, there are 6 things the Lord hates. No, 7 that are detestable to him. And I want you to think about how many of these things your husband has had. All right? Just, keep a little tally. It says 7 things that are detestable to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed the innocent blood, a heart that devised wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush to evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Does he have any of those things?
Yeah, he got a few of them.
Okay. So I'm saying God is not okay with how your husband's treating you, threatening to kill you, doing whatever he's doing with the finances and lying and all of that. But what about you, my dear, has waited this long and is holding on to a man who is harming you, threatening to kill you? What is that about?
I think the devil gets to his heart, but God never allow him to really abuse me. He do things, but I see it, but God shield me. I never failed them. Shield completely in peace. The peace God give it to me, I never understood he can give that such a peace. I said, Lord, if it's like that, I don't really want him back. But I said, Lord, nevertheless, if your will have to be done.
Yeah. I think that, I get it. A lot of people say the devil made me do it. But do you know who also is in the driver's seat? Your husband.
Yes, he is.
Your husband.
Yes. Yeah.
The devil is, you're right, the devil's there. The devil tempts, the devil can do a whole lot of stuff. But your husband has made some choices that have been really harmful.
Yes.
And he's saying,
Yes.
I don't want to be with you anymore. And there's
Yes.
heartache in that for you. There's incredible loss. And I think, Jim's wise counsel to get with an attorney. But I think sometimes we tolerate evil and lying and
Yes.
deception because of the verse that says God hates divorce. And I'm not saying what to do. You're going to value the word and you're going to need to sift through it all. But I was so heartbroken when I heard how he's been treating you. And I was curious as to why you're holding on to a man who is leaving you and who's threatened your life. That's all. I just wanted to have that conversation with you.
And so, Gloria,
Thank you.
yes, and
Yes.
if I could set your heart and mind at ease a little bit. So, yes, God hates divorce, but a marriage takes two people. You are not
Yes.
choosing divorce, he is.
Yes.
By signing the papers, you're not saying I agree with it. You're just saying I accept it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, but it's the acceptance of reality. And may I say one more thing? And we got to be careful with my reasoning for this because it can. We got to use wisdom, and I'm so glad that Proverbs was referenced today because, man, we need a lot more wisdom in this age. But to be married, you have to have a husband.
Yes.
Okay, the man you described to me doesn't sound like a husband. Oh, he has the title. He may have the documentation, but he doesn't have the mind, he doesn't have the heart, and he doesn't have the follow-through and actions. Which one is more important? Because,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I want you to consider in all of this, because I know that it's like, hey, like maybe God will be disappointed with me, or I am doing something that violates my value in Christ, or the value that God has set before me. But the truth of the matter is you're honoring someone else's choice of evil and letting them go.
Great point. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Gloria?
It sounds, very good, but I need to. Yes, this is sound very good. Then you have any a Christian base that will insist me to that thing, because I really want a Christian value in that divorce. For me to go to them and do whatever I have to do.
Well, I think
In Florida.
I think first and foremost, you do what Jim said, and you get wise counsel around you. There are plenty of Christians who have gone through painful divorces and who have worked through some of these things. There's a thing called divorce care, and I want you to look up for in your local churches. It's the same people who do grief share. I want you to look up divorce care. And that would be a great group for you to be a part of to help walk you through this. And I think the other, and it's called Divorce Care. And the other resource I want to send to you is Take Your Life Back. Because I think that there's too many times we lose ourselves in unhealthy relationships, or sometimes even destructive relationships. And God desires us to have us back. Sometimes this is what we tend to forget, is that our greatest asset, other than God himself on planet Earth, is ourselves. And that's why it's so important to take care of. And he values and loves us. So, Gloria, thank you so much for calling in today. And we wish you well. We know that God's grace, his peace, his love is going to guide you through this really, really difficult process and difficult season.
Chris, you make me think about hearing you, Hagar, who experienced Elroy, right? Mm-hmm. Who God wants us back. That's the God who sees. Here she was used as a concubine to have a child, and then was rejected and alone, and yet God saw her and wanted her back, and really,
that's really good.
Cared for her and loved her. So it's an important. When we think about the Bible, not everybody had it going well. A lot of people had stuff go down, and it wasn't what they wanted, but it's God was still there. So
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
There are so many things in our world today that threaten ourselves, threaten the quality of our relationships, and most importantly, I think our ability to show up well to relationships. And I think the thing that we've just been tsunamied with and continue to be tsunamied with is sexually explicit material and imaging and pornography and all of its different tentacles and avenues. And I had a client come to me because he heard me talk on it, and that sexual addiction causes what I call emotional deafness. It takes away our ability to feel, and certainly our ability to feel and deal. But then as a result, we become zombies. We become numb. We're not able to show up except for with anger and fear. If you find yourself in that position, you never intended to. You never wanted to go down this hole of pornography and sexual acting out, but you find yourself numb, you find yourself fearful, you find yourself hiding, and it's a disappearing you. This weekend, Washington, D.C., we have Every Man's Battle. And this is where we come out of hiding and come back to life. It's scary, but it only takes a few moments of courage and your life can change forever. Check it out, Every Man's Battle, this weekend, Washington, D.C.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction. He was unfaithful.
I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 15th through the 17th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we're going to go straight back to the phones. We're going to go to Sam in New York City, listening on the internet. Sam, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Sam. How can we help you today?
So I was actually listening to Gloria earlier. I have a little similar issue, but opposite. So I've been married to my husband for over 12 years, but we actually got our marriage blessed just a few years ago. There is a whole story to it, but anyway, my husband has been cheating on me, and I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So painful.
Yes. Anyway, he also is watching porn, and so we have not had sex. He hasn't touched me in years. Actually, even after we got blessed, so since our blessing of the marriage in the church, we've never had a sexual relationship. And so here's my question. I know guys hate divorce, do I need to stay with him, or can I divorce him? If I do, can I? I don't want to remarry at any point, but I just want to stay true to God. And I'm worried that, I'm an attractive person, if I say so myself. So I'm just worried that at some point I might want to, I don't know, someone will come. I just don't know what is the right thing to do here.
Well, Sam, let me jump in. You called on just the right day, because your heart needs cared for really, really well. And I have a friend here who can care for your heart really, really well. Sheri, what do you have for Sam?
Yeah, you know what? I love your heart. I hear the purity of heart in it. I mean, just as you were saying, I want to do what's right with God. So I hear that coming through. And I hear that the blessing that happened in the church just meant a whole lot to you. And
it was super important to me.
Yeah.
Because, like I said,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Because?
No, I just want to... I want to make things right with God. I know He has a plan for me, and I just don't want to do the wrong thing here.
It's important. It's important. So first off, I am really, really sorry about what's happening. I don't know if you have a copy of my book. It's called Intimate Deception: Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. But in there, I tell my own story of having been married to a man who was also acting out to pornography, and it just moved on to other things. But one of the things where you stepped into my inbox today is Connor, that's my former husband. He actually didn't have sex with me either for long periods of time. And I didn't understand that at first. It wasn't until I started getting more help and digging deeper and trying to understand. But what I didn't know is that he was acting out with pornography, and I don't know what else your husband's doing, if anything, but it was like a split screen in his own mind. It's like I asked him, and I'm like, why aren't you having sex with me? And he explained it this way. He said, well, you know what? I feel like I've got this dark side of me, and I've got this other side of me that's married to you, and I just can't mingle those together. And I go, okay, at some level that made some sense, but I said, well, we got to figure out what to do with this dark side. Because I'm not okay with pornography. I'm not okay with you sexually acting out outside of our marriage. And until we get to the bottom of this dark side and you become safe as a person, safe to me, I'm not able to feel comfortable in our marriage. And he had something else going on. I don't know your husband, but he had sexual anorexia, which is kind of a fear of intimacy. But so he wasn't being intimate with me, but he was being intimate with porn and, masturbating and all that. And then he was being intimate with others that I didn't know about. So we can't, the sexual stuff can be hiding. And that's why at the top of the hour, Chris talked about every man's battle, because until a man starts dealing with his pornography and whatever else he's got going on, he will not be able to be intimately, genuinely, sincerely, and honestly connected to you.
I don't think he will want to do anything. Like, I've approached him. I wanted to do some counseling. He's not really open to it. And, with the problems in our relationship is, it's on both sides a little bit, because he really never was able to satisfy me, and I was not hiding it.
Okay, but this is the deal. Did you know about pornography? Did you know anything about his sexually acting out?
No, it was horrible for me. Now I'm much better, but it was very difficult to me.
If a woman cannot relax if she knows this is going on. She can't. Your body can't relax. It doesn't work right. So we'll take a break here, but we want to talk a little bit more and give you some practical steps that you can do right now.
Yes, so we will be right back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams, Dr. Sheri Keffer, Jim Burns, and we're talking with Sam. And Sam, we're hearts breaking for you because when there is betrayal trauma, and let me just say this, betrayal trauma is a unique, horrific experience because there is a harm happening to you, but you can't see it. And there is a damage that's happening, but it's all around you, but you can't get a hold of it. And so what that does is it creates a deeper level of fear and anxiety and distrust and uncertainty. And so to feel crazy here is actually normal because it's a craziness that's happening to you, but it's not who you are. And we want to bring some clarity to that. Jim, what would you share with her today?
Well, if I was sitting across from you, Sam, I would say if your husband's not willing to get the help, I would get the help. I would go and get the help that you need because, again, let's imagine this. You live in New York, and let's pretend you're in the city, and you're walking down the street, and some guy comes to you and hits you with a 2x4, right? Well, you're going to bleed, and you're going to be broken. But what's happening to you is on the inside. But it's the same thing, okay? And so on the inside, you want to get your inside fixed, even if he never does, right? And as Sheri was speaking, and she's the authority on this, and she has the book that is just changing so many people's lives who have been through what you've been through. But as she was saying, it's beautiful that you have had this moment with God when you had your marriage vows, in the church. And at the same time now, what you've got to do is you've got to, roll up your sleeves and work so that you can become whole. And for you, there may be even more pain. Oftentimes I'll say, before freedom comes pain. So sometimes you're going to have to roll up your sleeves and do the work. But please know, you've been hit hard, but it's on the inside. People can't see that. And so what you don't want to do, if you were hit outside on the outside, you'd bandage and you'd get help and you go to the doctor, et cetera. Well, that's what you've got to do in this case. You've got to work on what's going on your inside. And to be honest, there's not much you can do for him until you get the help. And then maybe he will go to something like an Every Man's Battle or things like that. And there are stories every day where people end up doing that because they see you get, whole. But you're in a tough situation.
I'm so sorry. I am a strong person, and I will deal with it. I'll be fine.
Hold on. Sam, I'm going to interrupt. We know you're a strong person, but these are not things to do alone. So I want you to follow these steps. I always say this about myself. Sin patterns, sexual brokenness has taken out much better people than myself. So I'm going to need some help along the way. And so here's what I want you to do. First thing I want you to do is we're going to send you a copy of Sheri's book, Intimate Betrayal,
It's okay. Intimate deception. What you're talking about is it's not seen. You can't get your arms around intimate deception, healing the wounds of sexual betrayal. Right.
Yes, absolutely. And then I want you to go. You can go to www.newlife.com or just stay on the line, and we can get you signed up for our Restored workshop in Dallas. And that will be a specific experience for you and women in your situation that you can walk together through what it means of what you've experienced and what to do as a result of it. And I want you to look in your area, in the New York area, for a therapist that is trained in betrayal trauma and that can help walk you through this. Because as Jim was saying, and Sheri is a wonderful walking, breathing, thinking witness of this, is that there is restoration and wholeness for you on the other side of this. And the last thing I would say is if you're not ready for divorce right now, it sounds like there's plenty of biblical grounds for it, but if you're not ready, I would file for separation. I would encourage you to do that and seek legal counsel on what it would mean for a separation. And the main purpose of that is so that you can kind of get away from the chaos a little bit more and get clarity as you're working your own healing and health process.
And sometimes it's interesting you say that, Chris, because sometimes when a woman will take one step into the legal direction, if your husband's not willing to do anything, all of a sudden when the reality of the finances and what it's going to look like to have to divide whatever you have, and it's like, whoa, now you're serious. Okay, maybe I will step in and do something. But I know, Sam, I had to get to a point in my own life where I did everything I could do to save my marriage. I don't think I ever fought harder for any one human being. Mm-hmm. But then I had to realize that it takes two people.
Yes.
Rolling up their sleeves and both be willing to do the work to get that dark side taken out so that you can have a partnership and a marriage, a collaboration, a safe place to care for one another. And that's the sad reality is it does take two people.
Right. And you know what's interesting about that, Sheri, and also, Chris, what you were saying is if Sam would say, you know what, enough's enough.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break here.
Yeah.
What's amazing about that is that sometimes is the motivation for her husband to go get the help.
Yeah.
I've seen this over and over again. We have some very good friends who, same thing was happening. She took a break. She didn't say, I'm getting a divorce. She just simply said, right now we're going to take a legal and it was a legal separation.
Yeah.
7 months it took, but he actually went into a sexual addiction hospital for 28 days and worked through some things.
Good for
and
him.
You know what's amazing is today they have a restored marriage. That's not always the case. You know that.
I understand.
But the fascinating thing is her courage to say, I don't know what's going to happen and this is scarier than I'll get out, but I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
Brought him to the crisis that he needed to have, and it was she'd been talking to him for a long time, but it was the crisis for him that said, wait, she's gone. And you know what, his next move was to go get help, go to actually Every Man's Battle, and then get put in a sexual addiction place. And today their marriage honestly is amazing, and I just look at that and go, that's a miracle.
Yeah, it is a miracle. It is a miracle, and I love that story. What a story of hope.
Well, and Sam, thank you for calling in. Again, we're going to send you those resources, and to that point, we do have a lot of really, really amazing, life-transforming workshops coming up. We have, like I mentioned, we have Restored, July 15th through the 17th in Dallas. And if your life has been, if you're a wife, a woman, a daughter, a girlfriend, whatever, and your life has been deeply impacted by sexual betrayal, this workshop is for you.
Sam and anybody else, that's just next weekend.
Yes.
Right? Or
Yeah.
not this weekend, but just
But
it's
the
like 10
following.
days away. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now is the time to sign up.
Absolutely. And then we have Intimacy and Marriage workshop. And, this is just such a remarkable turnaround sort of thing. It could be a tune-up for sure. And it also can be a turnaround for your marriage. July 22nd through the 24th in Washington, D.C. And we have, and this is near to you, Jim, right? We have Courageous Parents, Transforming Relationships with Your Adult Sons and Daughters. And that's going to be online. That's coming up August 13th. And so then we have the Emotional Freedom Workshop, and that's also online on August 20th. And yeah, go ahead.
What I
Jim.
love about these online experiences is that people hear the content, but then they get into groups.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's a remarkable experience. I've often said, you know what, I need to just be quiet now. I'm done talking because now you're going to do some work and it's going to be great. And
Yes.
the people come back after they've been in this group with others actually, and with a therapist. They come back and say, this was incredible.
You know what, and also just to speak to this workshop really quickly, the Courageous Parenting one, is if we look at all of the resources for raising children, right, 0 to 18, and how many resources are out there for, as we messed everything up 0 to 18, to how do we maintain this relationship post 18? Because that's actually, for most of us, the majority of the lifespan of that actual relationship.
And a lot of parents of adults, they have what I call the cringe factor, exactly what Sam was talking about. It's called cohabitation. So 62% of people are now cohabitating before they get married. And I'm talking about secular studies show that if people cohabitate before marriage, that there's a greater chance of divorce and a greater chance of adultery. That makes sense. But the interesting side to it is the secular world isn't going to talk about that because it's not very woke to talk about it. But it's their research that's showing us this.
Yeah.
So sometimes we make a bad decision early on in a relationship where we probably shouldn't have moved in together here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And done that church thing, earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes me a little curious about Sam, because there was something that went on early in their marriage, and then there was a sense of redemption. But the sad part is maybe your husband didn't get redeemed. Maybe there was still stuff happening, and I imagine there was. And I was thinking of a couple that, there was a lot of acting out going on, and they renewed their vows. And once we did a full disclosure and she found out about it, she was devastated. But it made sense. Now she could go, oh, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So there is redemption. We're here for you, and we want to help you heal.
Yes, and these workshops, we have scholarships as well. You can either apply for a scholarship or you can contribute to a scholarship fund, but help support us, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Workshop is Saturday, August 20th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie McHarris will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or register online at newlife.com. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue. and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, Chris Williams in studio, Dr. Sheri Keffer, Jim Burns, and we want to get to another call today. I want to go to David, and he's in Turnock. You're gonna have to say it for me, David. You're in Pennsylvania somewhere. Where is this place where you reside from?
It's about 30 minutes from Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania.
Excellent. So the greater Scranton area is what I'll call it. If there's such a thing. So yes. Excellent. So David, how can we help you today?
Yeah, I had one question that I asked someone earlier, but I think I want to change it. I mean, the lady that called before really impressed me to share some of what I'm going through. I'm a leader in my church, and for a while, years, I have struggled with sexual addiction, pornography to be exact, and in the past, I have frequented, as the Bible calls them, strange women, but that is something I don't do anymore. But I've been rather discouraged because I just feel as if I've wasted so much time that I feel like God doesn't have a plan for me anymore. I feel like I've wasted that plan, that calling that He had. I've taken steps. I have a life coach. I've been on the road to recovery for a while, but I still just feel like I don't know that I've wasted a lot of time and that there's not much hope for me any longer.
Wow, David, your heart is breaking my heart because I think you're a good man, and I think you're a really good man that God has an incredible plan for. It's funny, you were talking, and I had a flash in my mind of Saul, right? Saul, that Christian killer, who you would think Jesus would never have any room for. And then there was that time, that walk to Damascus, that time that Saul wasn't doing the same behavior anymore. There was a true transformation, and even the disciples were kind of scared. Like when they first, Jesus added him to the disciples, they were like, whoa, this guy has killed Christians. And I kind of hear that in your voice, that you feel hopeless. But kind of like we were talking with Sam earlier, the pornography is like gangrene. I say in my book, it's a soul eater. It will eat your soul up, my friend. And so I hear regret. But you know what? You don't have to stay there. Just like cancer, there can be an eradication, and it's not typically instant. It can be, but often what we see here in New Life is there are steps and accountability and connections with other men that are doing it with you. You need a brotherhood and a plan so that you can get out of this. That the enemy is using it to keep you shackled. And I just think there's so much more for you.
Yeah.
I have Covenant Eyes. I use that software. I've got accountability friends, and I have a very decent support group. It's just that I ask myself, because of my sin, maybe have I forfeited the opportunity to get married someday and have a wife and things like that. I mean, I don't know. There's just things that that I think about? Have I gone so far?
Well, David, let me jump in. Here's the thing: is like those are reasonable fears, but those are man-constructed fears, not God-constructed fears, right? Because if that were true, if your sin disqualifies you from the possibility of the blessing of a marriage, of significance of work, of a life of fulfillment, we all don't get that. And we're talking about this, on one of the breaks. It's like the sins of behavior are easy to see, but Jesus spends a lot more time on the sins of the heart. And guess why? Because we all have it.
Yeah, David, Chris would not be here in this chair today if he was still acting out in the way that you have. Dude, look at he conquered this. He conquered this, and he's sitting here today with a new plan. He's able to give you hope because he had to do it himself. And okay, so you've got these things set up. You've got covenant eyes, you've got a support base, and I'm like, okay. You need a higher level of care, my friend. Whatever you've got set up, you're still going back to the porn. There's more that you're going to need to add to your plan.
Yeah. So what we can do every man's battle this weekend. And I know that sounds rushed. And I know that sounds fast. And of course we do it every month, but jump in. Don't delay. Because what you want to be able to find is what's driving that fear is actually shame. And shame is the fuel for all of this. And so I'm telling you, recovery from the behavior, that's hard and difficult. And that's taken out the trash every day, like, to be honest. It's not very glamorous work, but it's hard, and it eventually becomes fulfilling work. But I'm telling you, the harder work is actually the recovery from shame. And so in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, they say that we're praying for a daily reprieve. And there's days where it's stronger and more intense, and there's days where you don't even think about it. And those days that you don't think about it get longer and further apart. But listen, I would be totally out of my mind if I were to tell you that it's not a temptation, that it's not present or in my life as far as any of the ways that we access it. So one of the things that I had to learn is that the condition of my soul was way more important than my ministry impact in the world. The places that we go to in the quiet, hidden places is actually the better work, but unfortunately it won't get press. But why do you think that Jesus is telling us, stop going to the street corners to pray, go in your closet, because I'm going to do a deeper inside-out work. And yeah, it looks like daily chores. It really does. But you'll find that greater internal soul, heart freedom as you continue down that road. Yeah, Jim, what do you have?
David, you have a call on your life. I can sense it on this radio. That sounds so weird, I know, but you do. You have a call on your life. And part of your call now is the victory that you can have through this. There are thousands of people who have made good decisions. There are thousands of people who have made bad decisions. You're at a path, and when you choose the path where you do the work, and you're already starting the work, so it's not, you don't just have a goal. The goal is not even half the way there.
Yeah.
You actually have a plan, and you have some habits that you're doing that are good. So you've got, you go 3 steps forward and a step back. But part of you forfeited some of your spiritual purpose by going in that wrong direction. Now, make this direction the goal that you can do this work. You can make it. There are others who have. Bring people around you. You're doing that with a good coach, you said. But when you do that, my friend, you've got a story now that you can help a lot of people. And so, people like me, I was not a kid who got involved in pornography, and I don't really look at pornography. So guess what? I'm not as influential to people as when somebody goes, it's been a part of my life and I've had a victory.
Yeah.
So what I hope for you, and my prayer for you, is that you're one of the thousands of people who have said, hey, I've struggled like crazy, and here's what I've learned. and you can help a whole lot of people. There are people in your church right now that are doing the same thing and struggling.
Absolutely. Well, David, I got to jump in because we're coming to the end of the show. Thank you for calling in. We're going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and Every Man's Battle. We're in studio for another hour. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. If you're on the phone right now, stay with us. We'll get to you again. That's 1-800-229-3000. Thank you for being with us today, and God bless.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.